Right now, I'm just a little bit frustrated with the lack of progress that we're making on the Audi R8. From one view, things are looking pretty good, but from another view, things are not looking so good. They don't look good. Looking good, they don't. It helps to remind myself how many moving parts there are in a project like the one behind me.
We're on a mission from God.
The wheels that I'm going to use for this project came from a 2017 Audi R8. The 2017 model wheels fit on our 2009 model without any significant modification whatsoever. The color though, that's gonna need a significant modification. So our new to us wheels have to come back off the car, and yes, that means the hideous Lamborghini wheels have to go back on. Just as we thought we'd never have to look at these wheels on one of our vehicles ever again. So one by one, I'll load these wheels into the bed of my pickup truck. I can't stress this enough, having the extra cargo room is incredibly helpful. So we'll head off to the powder coater, but not before making one pit stop. Let's see if these guys would be willing to help us out. I have 4 wheels out in the car. I'm hoping I could pay you to remove the tires.
Take tires off?
Yeah, just take them off. Do you have tires in stock for the Bentley? While the guys so kindly hook us up with their tire machine, I gotta find an Uber out of here. Uber for Ed? She didn't think that was funny. If you recently saw my Bentley on eBay Motors, you're probably wondering why I'm buying tires. The Bentley was actually already sold, but the buyer backed out. I was non-negotiable on the sale price, which the buyer was okay with initially. It was when the bill came for the transportation costs that the buyer ultimately decided that they wanted to back out of the deal. I would have backed out too if it was gonna cost $2,500 to ship the car. He actually asked me to eat that cost and I just said no. So if I'm gonna keep driving it for a bit while I have to find another buyer, I'm gonna give it some new tires. Have I told you about this box yet? I don't think I have. It doesn't make sense to open what's in this box right now because our car is not ready for it. So stay tuned because what's in this box is my favorite part. Don't worry, I'll open it in a moment. While the Bentley gets new rubber, we'll take apart the rest of our R8 because this H-brace is broken and needs replacement. The primary job of the H-brace in this car is to hold up the airbox. And apparently the purpose of the airbox on my R8 is to hold up airflow. It's these incidental findings that sometimes can teach you a lot about your car. I feel bad even running the car with these air filters. Replacing these should be easy, but not before we have to run back to the tire shop. Problem is, we're spending all day waiting for Ubers. Not an Uber. Wonder how much one of those would cost. Uber for Ed? Just as funny the second time. Kind of strange you brought your kid. Getting your wheels powder coated is not as simple as it seems. You're gonna have to take your wheels to a professional shop, who typically only removes tires from your wheels if they're going to reinstall tires that you purchased from their shop. So sometimes in order to get these things accomplished, you gotta find a shop full of cool guys interested in your projects. Thank you. Kind of crazy to get the same Uber driver twice in one day. What is the damage though?
1360/62.
Cool.
Is it like Copart you go through?
I do Copart, I do IAA if you're familiar. IAA seems to be more honest.
Is it like live auctions you do, or do you physically go and look at them?
You can still go in person and do it, but it's a little easier online now. So I do it all online. And I don't, like that one's in Atlanta. I just, don't even have to go.
So me and my brother are trying to get into it.
Do it, it's fun.
Basically, they go there, they buy it for you.
Yep.
It gets shipped.
And they ship it to your house, you come in from work, and there it is in the driveway. And it's all smashed up.
That's your page?
The bottom? Yeah, Ed Gasket. It's kind of like Head Gasket, but my name's Ed, so I made it Ed Gasket. Sweet.
That's yours.
Thank you.
How many subscribers you got?
About 8,000.
Ah, you saw that?
Yeah, man.
Check it out.
Thank you very much. All right, see you later. I'm glad we came out here. We met some cool people interested in the channel, and we got our car taken care of. We're not only inspected, but our Bentley has new wheels, and check it out, tireless Audi R8 wheels. Which brings us to our next point. $1,300 is a great price for tires for the Bentley, but I could have just paid for transportation and the car would be gone. It would have been cool to have the Bentley sold, but I would have been out $2,500, and now I get to keep driving a Bentley, and this time it's on new tires. I really like the Audi wheel design, I just don't like the color. Today we're dropping our wheels off at the powder coater. Take a good look, this is the last time that they'll ever be black. Welcome to Bonehead Performance Coatings, the people in charge of making these wheels look good again. It doesn't matter what color you're looking for, whether it be blue, yellow, 50 shades of silver, white or green, I'm having a hard time choosing.
What's so Ed Gasket?
Yeah. My name's Ed, and then I just make it Ed Gasket. It's like a play on words for head gasket.
Yeah, I like that.
And then it kind of stuck. Okay, and then I have to sign the bottom?
Yes, please.
Cool.
What color do you want?
What I want is the... All right, see you next time. It's cool how many people are really into making YouTube videos. While the folks at Bonehead Performance work on making these wheels look great again, it's time to remove the air box so we can get better access to the H-brace. The H-brace comes out by removing some easily accessible fasteners inside the engine bay, some easily accessible fasteners outside of the engine bay, and a few fasteners that may have been perfectly engineered by the folks over at Audi, or we just got lucky with this one. I think we got lucky. With the wiring loom and oil lines pushed up out of the way, it takes some pushing and pulling, but without doing any other collateral damage, the H-brace does work its way back out. With the H-brace removed, we now have access so we can tuck in our new heat shield and ensure that the exhaust doesn't burn up our brake lines. It's nice to be putting new parts back on the car. It's nice to finally see this thing outside the car. Here's the damage up close and personal. Here's the old cracked H-brace compared to the new to us version. The old one is dirtier, but the new one still needs a cleaning. I'll clean up the H-brace before I put this back into the car. I should really clean the whole engine bay. I just don't like to do that without the engine bay being complete. All electronics plugged back in. That's how you get yourself in trouble. Water ends up places where it shouldn't be. The H-brace goes back in the engine bay with just about as much finagling as it took to get it out, allowing us to tighten the visible, the accessible, and the downright well-engineered hardware that keeps this H-brace H-bracing. I've been calling it an H-brace all along. I don't even know where I heard that. Now that our H-brace is in, I actually just looked it up. It's called a cross member and it costs $386. We can confidently reinstall our airbox. It's what goes inside the airbox that we're not so confident in. Next, we should be putting in these air filters, but take a look at those. I'm surprised this car was even running. I think it'd be hard to make this air filter worse off, so we'll try our best with an air compressor. So this is all the dirt that I just collected out of one filter. One. That's the big pieces of dirt. Imagine the tiny little pieces trying to make their way into this engine. The filters are now a lot cleaner than they used to be. And I did order a new set, to replace these, but they won't be here for a few days. But in the event I have to start or move this car, I want to make sure that there's at least some level of filtration taking place. Oh, I never screwed this back in. Get the airbox secure. And we'll put the lid on. These little automotive detail brushes are actually really nice. The lid going on makes me feel much better about giving this engine bay a good old-fashioned deep cleaning. Not saying I'm gonna do that, but if I were gonna do it, I'd feel much better now. We're now finished with our engine bay. We did oil, coolant, and that H thing. With these projects, I like to bounce from feel-good tasks to look-good tasks. Fixing all the problems with our engine bay and our suspension, those are feel-good tasks. Finally addressing this, that's a look-good task. There are a few approaches to managing this airbag issue, one of which is just simply replacing the seats. And that's what I'm gonna do, which demands an exceptional amount of time spent in this position. But being able to finally install some of our favorite parts makes the awkward positioning totally worth it. And I get to loosen some bolts that probably haven't been loosened since this car was in the factory, where the workers spent all day like this. I've never removed a seat from a car before, but I can tell just by the weight of the seat and how tight the space is that this is gonna be really dangerous for collateral damage. So I'm hoping this welding blanket will prevent us from having to paint any painted surfaces that we weren't already planning on painting. Maybe something like this, and like this. This is gonna be dangerous. Here goes nothing. I'm gonna just stop being a freaking wuss about it and just pick the damn seat up. Something like this. Oh, we're out. Now, did I do damage? Yes, I did. Damn, I was hoping to find maybe some cash under there. Assuming the seats have never been out of this car, some of this dirt is probably from 2009, and some of these scratches are from 2024. Yeah, I did that. As much as I just want to pull out the old seat and reinstall the new seat to get this project moving along, it's hard not to stop for a second and clean up some of this dirt that's been collecting for 15 years since this car was built. At the same time, giving this car a well-deserved full detail, which is something it deserves, as it sat at the auction collecting dust for over 6 months. These are the moments when an auction car transitions and finally starts to become one of your own. Something tells me this is going to be a very similar event trying to get the new seat back in. There's got to be such an opportunity to save a ton of weight with an aftermarket seat. Remember, there are really 2 reasons why we did this brown to red conversion. The first is because, why did the hood just pop? I think I hit the key in my pocket. The first reason is I didn't like the brown. The second reason is, whoa, way easier going in. I didn't know what to do about that airbag. Remember, these seats aren't perfect, but this is a budget rebuild. For our budget, this was a home run. The first thing to do is to plug in the seat. There's 4 plugs, so I imagine that's the power for the seat, that's the heated seat, this is maybe the airbag, and I don't know what the 4th plug is for the seat belt. And I didn't transfer the seat belt from the old seat. So out comes our seat. Although I guess by now we're pretty good at this. I'm trying to remember what the first move was. First move was to scratch the plastic. Got it. Whatever. Here it comes. Oh. So there it is. There's our seat belt from the old seat. Looks like one single bolt. Wow, very tight. Feels like Loctite. Here's our seat belt from our 2009 car. I think the donor car here may have been a different year, but most of the Audi parts are interchangeable year by year. All right, back in the car. I think last time I said I was getting good at this. All right, let's see what the damage was. I don't know, I can't tell what's old damage and what's new damage. It's damage. Let's get it bolted in. Well, cool. Now our airbag problem is fixed and we have red seats. Seat. I'm gonna go catch a break while my assistant installs the other seat. It's a shame when you spend a great deal of time trying to prevent scratching a certain surface, and that's literally the only surface you end up scratching. Oh, among a few other things. Put the brown seat down, grab the red seat. Kind of has me wondering why I chose to use a welding blanket to protect the interior sill. I'm thinking literally anything else, even this floor mat, would have done a better job. A welding blanket is literally for heat, right? Like, that's it. So now I get to buy 2 new interior sills. Another part that I'm assuming the name of. Oh, scratched it again. My fingers, my poor fingers, my poor wallet. Torquing down the last bolt in our seat swap means we're ready to move on to the final interior upgrade in our car. Have you been wondering what it is? I bought this part used a couple of weeks ago. I mean, of course it's used. The car's a salvage title. Everything I bought for this car so far has been used. But this I'm really excited about. The last interior upgrade for our Audi R8 is this carbon fiber Alcantara racing steering wheel. Check that out. For a 15-year-old car, this interior has aged incredibly well and has a nearly timeless appearance. Swapping out a steering wheel and airbag on any car should start with removal of the negative battery terminal. Ideally, this will help you avoid any mistake that you could possibly make that would cause the airbag to blow up in your face. To get the airbag out, you turn the steering wheel 90 degrees, and this gives you a place to put your wrench to loosen the bolts. After you loosen one bolt, you turn the wheel 180 degrees, so that you have access to the second of 2 bolts. With both bolts removed, you can pull the airbag and unplug the electrical connections. With the airbag now off to the side, you can see the single bolt that holds on your steering wheel. This tool's covered in oil, and I'm thinking it's the same size wrench that we used to drain our oil in this car a few weeks ago. How tight is this? Oh, not that tight at all. Ugh. It's a lot of Loctite. You'd be surprised at just how easy your steering wheel comes right off. With the antiquated wheel off to the side, the new carbon fiber wheel fits with a factory finish. The single bolt that holds the steering wheel on is torqued to 50 foot-pounds. The old airbag fits the new carbon steering wheel like it was meant to be. The updated red seats, the gated manual transmission, and this Alcantara carbon steering wheel updated the look of our R8's interior by an easy 5 to 10 years. The interior update and upgrades was fun and all, but wait till you see what I'm about to do with the exterior.